Yeah, so you guys, brand new jokes. And you know, for the longest time, I never really felt like I was getting older, right? Like I always just kind of felt like I was in my 20s, right? But then lately, I'm starting to feel it now, you know? Like, yeah, you know, when I was young, I was fearless. I know now because everything now scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I saw this California cheese commercial. It's in like this Mexican restaurant. You know, and everyone's in there like eating milk products. And then the waiter, right, he's like carrying the charcuterie board. He like looks over and he like takes a piece of cheese off it and just eats it, you know? He's like, right? I was like, what the fuck is that? You know, if he was bringing me that board, I'd be like, you know, why don't you just finish your lunch and bring me my fucking thing, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't paying for your fucking leftovers and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this commercial even for? Is this for like selling dairy products or the fucking the border wall? You know, in Garden Grove, there's a guy running for mayor, and he's named Phatbui. Fat Boy, right? Yeah, that's his real name. It's real. And his running mate is his longtime standing rival. Fuck you. And, you know, Los Angeles is similar to New York, right? In it's an international city. But unlike New York, though, LA is like all spread out, compartmentalized and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like in LA, the black people are like concentrated like here, and like Asians are like here, and the Mexicans are like here. And the first time I drove through Utah, I looked around and I realized like, oh, these Mormons are like really like not racist at all, you know? Hey, you like see it in their eyes and shit. Yeah, they don't give you that look of hatred and freaking disgust that like some people give me and shit, you know? So, you know, I tell all my Asian sisters and shit like, hey, you know, if you're gonna date a white guy, find yourself a good Mormon boy. Yeah, he'd make a great ex-husband. Alright, here's the long one. You know, women don't like whatever sucking flossy penis, right? So whenever I have my dick in a girl chick's mouth, what I try to do is I try to flex my cock as hard as I can, you know? Yeah, I try to get like I really try to get the tip to flare out, right? And then the veins to bulge and shit. And another thing I'll do is like I'll reach down and I'll undo her bra and I'll start scratching her back and shit. And that trench, you know, that trench line that her bra strap makes, like right away, that's just like makes the blowjob just instantly better and shit. And she's like, yeah, I felt good. Anyway, you know, I don't like the whole sucking fucking combination thing because like, if you're sucking me off, right, and then you expect me to fuck you after, you know, I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna last long at all. Right? I'm like, okay, here we go, and I'm done. All right, so I believe sucking's for sucking, fucking's for fucking, right? So, you know, if you're going down to me and I think we're gonna have more sex later, then I'll tell you when I'm about to come, you know. But if this is like a one-time thing, then surprise! And when it gets to the fucking, like, I like for her to orgasm first, right? So, you know, oral, right? Well, you gotta warm up the coochie, you know? And I think the gateway to the clit is the nipples, right? So, you know, it's like licking and sucking and a little bit of this. Anyway, I'll be out there, whatever. I'll be up there, then you slowly, whatever, bring a hand south, right? And recon that slip, you know? Recon that badge. So you got one hand down here and then one hand up here, and then I'll like slowly move my head, right, from one erogenous zone to the other, like slowly, right, like a solar eclipse. And then I'll feel like her body like tensing up and like, you know, in anticipation and shit. Now, I don't like when women open up their legs, you know, because I want to do that, right? Yeah, like opening up a birthday present, you know? What I'll do, I'll get her legs and I'll put them together. And I'll rub all the way down, right? And I'll grab her ankles and go, yeah! You know, cunnilingus is like the scientific term for eating pussy. And, you know, you can do the traditional, like, upward clit lick, right? Or you can do the side to side, right? me to, you know, I like to mix things up a little, right? So I'll use the back of my tongue, like the soft part, you know? Like that, right? So, you know, when you feel, when she's about to orgasm, you can literally feel her coming, right? Like she'll maybe arch her back or something, and then I'll come, she'll be like, ah, right? Then I'll like grab her by the wrists and shit. And then I'll really go in then, I'll be like, ah! And she'll be like, ah, stop, you know? And I'm like, never, ah! And then after a while, like I wipe my mouth, and then it's time for the fucking, right? Now for me, I noticed that, like if I use my hips and do like that pelvic hip thrust thing, like I'll come really fast if I do that. Yeah, so what I do, I'll like move my whole body back and forth, you know? Yeah, it's like fucking a tree and shit. She'd be like, hey, talk dirty to me. I'm like, I am Groot. Anyway, so I'll be fucking, and then my favorite position is like when she's like on her back and stuff, and then both her legs are up, right? I'm like holding the back of her legs, you know? And yeah, this way, you know, I can really like do my thing, right? And so like, at this point, you know, I'm going at it, and I'm doing my best, like to think of baseball, my grandma, anything, right? Just to get my mind off it. And then I always try to have like a grand finale, right? So my thing is like, I'll go and I'll give her a really hard pump, right? I'll be like, bam! And then I'll go soft, and then soft, and another hard one, bam! Right? And then soft, and another hard one, bam! And then I'll go soft, and soft, and soft, and soft. So by now, like with every soft, whatever push, she's gonna be like, right? And then I give it to her, right? And I go, bam, 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 right? And then when I come, I don't stop either. I do the double come, right? Double come is after you come, your dick will stay hard if you just keep working it, you know? And then it's not easy though, because after you come, like, your dick just wants to give up and shit. But you gotta really grit your teeth like, oh, like, come on, go, 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 go. You're like, I am Groot. And then you do the double come, right? And you're like, woo. And it's over for you, but it's not over for her. You get your fingers in there, you go, ah, right? You get her splurting all over the place, or squirting all over the place. And then you're like, okay, and you get a towel and you go, hey babe, let me help you clean that up. Ah! And then it's all done. And then you go, and then you lay there, you go cuddle and stuff. You're laying together, you know, you feel like Adam and Eve and shit. And it's nice, you know. But after 30 minutes, you know, I'll tap you on the shoulder, you know, looking for more sex. And I won't tap you with my hand either. Yeah, the way we talk about sex is weird, you know? Like, you don't do sex, right? You have sex. Yeah, it's like having a meal. Yeah, you got first course, main course, intercourse. Yeah, rules are rules. Yeah, you can't break the rules. But rules are like penises. They can be bent. Yeah, you know, I was in the Army. But originally I wanted to be a Marine. You know? Right. Yeah, and because I saw that movie, I forgot what it's called. Oh, Mr. Robinson, There Is a God, or something like that. Anyway, the guy, he's a Marine.
Saving Private Ryan.
No, it was it's like this old movie from the 60s. But anyway, so you know, I had in my mind, yeah, I'm gonna be a Marine, right? But then I met this guy when I was senior in high school. He's a Marine, and I was like, oh really? I want to be a Marine, right? And then right away he just changed, right? It's like dun dun dun. It's like this darkness came over him. He's like, man, you better really think about it, man. You better really fucking think about it. I was like, okay, you know. And then a month later, the same thing, right? I meet this guy. He seems all happy. He's like, yeah, I'm a Marine. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna be a Marine right after high school. All of a sudden he's like, dun dun dun. Man, you better really think about it. You better really think about it. So, you know, maybe I don't want to be a Marine then. Like, these guys are like obviously like traumatized by it or something. And so I was like, I started to think about it. And then one day, me and my buddy, like, we ditched school. You know, we ditched class to like smoke cigarettes. And we're going back to school, and this car pulls up next to us, right? It's got these guys in these two white uniforms. They're like, yeah, you going to class? And we're like, yeah. Like, well, you should join the Navy. It's fucking awesome. Woo! Right? And they peel out, you know? I was like, what the hell is that all about? And I started thinking, maybe I should join the Navy, you know? Because these guys look pretty happy, you know? But then I started thinking, like, I don't know about the Navy. Like, I don't want to be like, they got gay little uniforms and stuff. And, you know, and I'm like, me, I'm too pretty to be on a boat with a bunch of dudes, you know? So I ended up joining the Army, you know? I was a private in the Army, which sounds gay too, but I'd rather be a private than a seaman. That sounds a lot less sticky. You know, Christopher Columbus was actually the first person in modern history to record seeing a UFO. Yeah, the night before he found the Americas, he wrote in his diary that he saw a light come out of the ocean and just fly away and shit. Yeah, he's the first person in history to coin the term, "What the fuck was that?" Yeah, I read a story about a trans lady who changed her mind and she wanted to get her penis reattached, you know? Yeah, I was like, this story is ridiculous. Yeah, dodo bird is the most famous extinct animal of the extinct animals. Some of the lesser known extinct animals is like the Tasmanian tiger, the white rhino, and the American man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a bit of attitude, you know. And my attitude doesn't come from my race or even my gender, you know. No, it comes from my military status.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm a U.S. Army veteran, right? So unless you're like a Marine or, you know, Navy SEAL or something, like, I'm just better than you, you know? That's just the way it is, right? Like, you know what a maggot is? Maggot?
Mm.
Well, in the Army, when you first join the Army, everyone starts calling you that. Maggot. They're like, get over here, maggot. Go over there, maggot. Go ahead, maggot, right?
Mm.
And they're not really trying to be mean. They're just telling you what you are, you know? In the Army, a maggot is someone who hasn't finished training yet, you know? Yeah, they don't call you a soldier because you might not finish training, you know? You might not have what it takes to be a soldier, right? So until you prove that you do, you're just a maggot, you know? So that's why I act like this, because, you know, you guys, if you're a civilian, you're not even a maggot. You know what I mean? You're lower than a maggot. So that's why, you know, and some people they'll be like, oh, well, you were in the Army, you think you'd kick my ass? No. Well, you give me a fully loaded M16 with a bayonet attached, you're a dead man. No doubt. I was an expert rifleman and a champion bayonet fighter. Who are you, Superman? No, you're dead man. No doubt. Yeah, you know, the Army didn't teach me to beat people up, you know. I was trained to kill, you know. Well, that and to jack off in the porta potty. Yeah, my dog is a miniature pincher, or a min pin. They're notorious for not listening to the owners and sneaking out of the house, just barking at everybody. Yeah, the breed's called miniature pincher, but they're a major pain in the ass. Alright, let me try this one. Wow. You know, when I go to sleep, to help me go to sleep, I imagine that I'm like piloting like a tiny submarine, you know? And I'm like on a secret mission to locate and destroy the enemy aircraft carrier. And so I imagine I'm like diving deep into the ocean and like I'm seeing whales and even like a giant merman holding a trident and stuff. And then in the morning when I get my morning boner, I'm like, oh, up Periscope. Yeah, I went to all male-based training when I was in the Army. And the only real difference is that in all male-based training, not everyone gets a blowjob. Yeah, my favorite of the LGBT community is actually the L's. You know?
Hey.
Yeah, I feel like I can really talk to the L's and grow out with them and stuff. And I'd be like, hey man, you see that chick? She's freaking hot, right? We can talk about camping, Subarus, Xena the Warrior Princess and stuff. And I remember the first time I saw two L's getting it on, I was like, hello! Like, whoa, this is something special. I've stumbled upon a secret here. So they're great, you know. And then my second favorite are T's. Because I noticed that most T's are L's, you know. So I like L's, I like T's, right? Like Nina Nguyen, you know, she's cool. And then my third favorite are the Q's, you know. Yeah, the Q's are just having a blast, right, with their ball gowns and high heels. And what I love most about the Q's is that for them, it's not really about sex, you know. It's all just about having fun. And like, you know, how can you hate that, right? And that brings me to the G's, you know. I'm not G's, so they give me the creeps. Yeah, you know, because for them, it's all about sex and shit. Yeah, a little bit of dancing, a little bit of partying, but they're there to get down and dirty and spread some STIs around and shit. Yeah, like, you got pride? Yeah, I got pride. I got chlamydia now. I'm just kidding, I don't have chlamydia. It's herpes. Let's see. Go back to this. Yeah, I was watching, I think, the best war movies are Korean war movies. And I'm not talking about the Korean War. I'm talking about war movies made in Korea. In South Korea. Yeah, like the movie My Way. It's like a World War II movie. It blows Saving Private Ryan out of the water. It's not even close yet. My Way, check it out. Anyway, I think the difference is because American war movies are kind of like, hey, look at this, isn't this cool? And then they'll be like, but war's bad. War's bad. Whereas Korean war movies are more like, yeah, we know war's bad, but since we have to fight this war, we're gonna win it. You know, it's better. And then, so I was watching one day on Netflix. They had this Chinese war movie, right? It's a Chinese movie about the Korean War. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Let me see their take on it. And I was watching it. It's freaking lame, you know. I think it's because the Chinese are communists, right? So the whole movie is just about let's all sacrifice everything for the good of the Communist Party and shit, you know? And it's like boring too. Like the whole movie, they're just like building this bridge and they just keep rebuilding it for the Communist Party, you know? And I'm like, this is dumb. It's like not even worth watching. It's just propaganda basically. It's just to get you to act and think a certain way. It's like talking to my mom. Yeah, you know, whatever. I threw my back out a couple of weeks ago. It was bad, right? It hurt a lot. And but my neighbor, she like massaged my back, and the pain went away. You know, it worked really good. I was like, man, that's awesome. Now, you know, I'm gonna even go back there after. I'm gonna go back after this, you know? And this time for a pulled groin. Yeah, there's a bit of controversy over Kamala Harris' race. You know, like is she Indian or is she black? You know, the fact is that her mom is Indian and her dad is black. You know. And, I know the media always just wants us to focus in on the black half, but I'll tell you what, the second she becomes president, every 7-Eleven is going to give out free Slurpees. And most people don't know this about me, but I lost like 200 pounds last year. Yeah, I got divorced. And you know, Korean food sucks, right? Like, we don't even have proper like cookies and cakes and shit. Now we have tteok. Right, if you don't know what tteok is, like this mashed up rice cakes, you know? And like some of it's okay, like we got these tteok balls that's like got like sesame seed jam and stuff in it. But most tteok is nothing, you know, it's just whatever. It just tastes like rice. What does rice taste like, right? And that's what we eat for celebrations and shit. Like you go to a wedding, you see mounds of tteok all over the fucking place. And it's colorful and it looks cool, but it's just so bland and tasteless. That's like Dane Cook's jokes. You know, in the army, our number one fear was poison gas. Yeah, the number two fear was dying before we get to trianal. Yeah, my dog, when I first got her, she was a little puppy. I didn't know what kind of breed she was. And this dude asked me, he's like, is that a wiener dog? And I didn't know what he meant by that. I was like, wiener dog? No, she's female. You know, a famous picture of Bigfoot, where he's like this or whatever. That's actually taken from a 5-minute film of Bigfoot walk through the woods. And I was watching this documentary once, and I think that Bigfoot is real because they were showing the Bigfoot in slow motion, and that Bigfoot is a woman, you know, a female. Yeah, you can see that she has boobs and stuff. You can clearly see them like swaying as she's walking through the woods. So I think it's real because if it was fake, why would they put boobs on it? You know? Yeah, they wouldn't do that, right? So I was, I'm looking at them, and for not having a bra, they're actually quite well formed. I was like, wow, Bigfoot got some nice tits. That's crazy, right? I never thought in a million years I'd be jerking off to Bigfoot. Oh, I keep forgetting the line. Like, what is this, Sasquatch gone wild? Yeah, I think it's not good to eat like baby animals, like veal or lamb. Like, why do they have to be babies? Why can't we let them grow up a little bit? Yeah, because I know in Korea, we only eat adult dogs. If you don't know how to use chopsticks, you should probably learn, right? Because like when Asian people, when we see you fumbling with chopsticks, we lose all respect for you and shit. Yeah, we're like, so you don't know how to eat? Well, let's just be friends then. Yeah, I used to love fishing when I was a kid. But I think that's because when I was a kid, I used to actually catch fish and shit. Yeah, this past 20 years, I've been going fishing every year or so. I haven't caught anything. Nowadays I just stand out there in the sun with this fishing pole, getting skin cancer. A dude walks by like, you catch anything? Yeah, melanoma. Yeah, I grew up near Pasadena, and most of my classmates were white, right? And so none of the girls ever thought of me as good looking, you know? Because I'm Asian, I look weird, right? And so that's how I always thought about myself until I was 15 and I went to South Korea for the first time. Yeah, you know, it's just like that movie, Kung Fu Panda 3 and stuff, where he goes back to Panland for the first time. He's like, wow, you know, everyone looks like me. That's exactly what it's like. It was like, so not only was my mind blown, but like, so was my dick. And, you know, like, I don't know what women around here would rate me as like a 4 or a 5. But in South Korea, I was a 9.9. Yeah, I was like the tallest dude in the whole country and shit. And I had American accent, you know? And so if you're a Korean girl born and raised in Korea, all of a sudden you see this tall Korean dude walking around with an American accent. It was like, fire crotch. Yeah, I was only 15. Grown women were just throwing their pussies at me and shit. I was like, whoa, excuse me, miss, drop this. So it was awesome, you know? Yeah, I totally plan on going back. Yeah, I'll be a famous comedian here and go back to Korea and spend the rest of my days knee deep in a rice paddy full of pussy. And you know what you call someone who's mixed black and Asian? You call them Blasians, right? And someone who's mixed Mexican and Asian, well, you can either call them Mexican or Asians. You know what you call a guy who's mixed white and Asian? Asshole. Yeah, my brother, his wife is Asian or Korean, and she calls him oppa, which in Korean means older brother. That's weird, right? It's like, what the fuck's that? Oh, that's kind of gross. Yeah, me and my ex-wife, she always used to call me stepdad. Yeah, you know, the national dog of Korea is called the Chindoke. It looks kind of like a husky, but it's blonde and it has a curly tail. And it tastes like ham. Hey, you know, they say elephant never forgets. That's true. Until it's their turn to take out the fucking trash. And they said Disneyland's the happiest place on earth. That's only if you're a little kid. Yeah, you know, if you're a grown man, I'd say the happiest place on earth would be South Figueroa Street. You ever played doctor when you were a little kid? Yeah, when I was in kindergarten, I was playing doctor with one of my classmates. It was all fun until she started playing proctologist. You know, that whole little dick Asian myth thing actually worked to my advantage a couple months ago. I was at this open mic in a bar, and this little 5'2" French lady like totally singled me out, you know, amongst the other comedians and shit. I guess she was thinking like, hey, look at this Asian guy. He's probably got a lot of money and a little dick. Yeah, like, I'm an open mic comedian, you know, I don't have any money. Man, I got a normal sized dick, you know. I know, because I was in the army. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so, you know, when she first saw it, she was like, oh my God, your dick is huge. I was like, it's not that big, but thanks. Yeah, you know, like, whatever. I forgot that line. Anyway, I advise all guys to date women that are at least 6 inches or more shorter than them. Yeah, when I saw my dick in her little hands, I was like, maybe I do have a big dick, man. Yeah, I felt like a porn star being with her and shit. I was like, I'll give myself a porn star name. I'm gonna be E1. Ooh. Yeah, you know, a lot of important things were invented in China, right? Like paper, a compass, gunpowder. One invention definitely not invented in China, though. Driving. I've seen these billboards all over Hollywood about this blind mountain climber who climbed up to the top of Mount Everest. It's pretty inspiring, you know? Now I was thinking, well, how did he know he was on top of Mount Everest? Yeah, for all I know, he could have been on top of Mount Whitney, just like right over there. And I was thinking, that's actually a pretty good business idea. And getting paid to take blind mountain climbers up to the top of Mount Everest. Yeah, you know, it's, a couple months ago, this dude sitting right there giving me the Jada Pinkett face. You ever seen the Jada Pinkett face? That's when they're like, eh. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Don't be sitting there giving me no Jada Pinkett face. They better knock that shit off before he was Will Smith hand. You know, in Korea we have Thanksgiving, right? We celebrate. It's called Chuseok. And what we do is just like normal Thanksgiving, but we celebrate with our dead relatives. Like we'll put a place for them. You know, we'll have the pictures. Like for us, it's my grandparents and my aunt that passed away. And then we have food for them, right? And throughout the meal, we'll like take a scoop of food and we'll put it in this bowl, you know. And then same with liquor, right? Get shot of like soju and like swish around this incense. and put it in the bowl, you know. It's like if they're there with us eating and drinking. And then it's kind of like that thing where you pour beer with your dead homies, right, on the curb. But we use food, right, and we use their favorite food. Like my grandmother, her favorite food was a certain type of fish, like this red snapper. And so we always have that fish in front of her picture. And my aunt, her favorite food is like this pork belly. It's like this really thick slabs of bacon. And we have that in front of her picture. Now for my grandfather, we'll take my grandmother's picture and put it under his like this. Because for him, his favorite thing to eat was my grandmother's pussy. I'm out there, thank you.
All right, keep it going for Ewan. Finishing strong with grandmother's pussy.